Okay, so I've had a few requests to have a look around my shoeing rig. So this is it. We'll start this side. Here I've got all my nails, various sizes, from quite small to reasonably sized. They're just the common ones. Then I've got road nails, plate nails, all sorts of things, studs, drive-in studs. These are for my external lights if I want to shoe in the dark. Then I've got lights inside so I can see what I'm up to. Got those all round. 3000 watt inverter, so if I want to run any power tools, that runs them nicely. What else we got? Fire extinguisher up here. This was designed originally for a shotgun because I didn't have this particular rig built. This was already on the truck, but the guy who designed it had a good eye, put it that way. All sorts of other tools in here, extension leads, socket sets. There's another battery in there, help run the inverter. Around the other side, that's where my gas gets filled up. Just pop into the garage and fill her up. That's where it goes, into my gas low tank, so I don't have to keep getting propane. Another fire extinguisher, gloves, paper towels, first aid kits, duct tape, very important. Down the bottom there I've got a gallon of diesel, just in case, Dremel and steps, short steps in case I need to reach anything that I can't. Oh, and my shovel, I just keep that in there. That's what I use when I go metal detecting or digging myself out in the winter. So that's the sides basically. There's a few other bits and pieces tucked away, but nothing spectacular. Now that clip goes through there, so that stops that lot rattling around, can't go anywhere, which is great if you're parked unevenly. Right, so what we got up here, I keep a spare rasp, pair of small snips, sanding blocks, all sorts of bits and pieces in there. Then what do we got over here? A couple of spare knives, a little searcher, another lighter for lighting the forge. That is the screw for holding my anvil down. Golden ratio calipers, diamond, knife sharpener, and a little brush. Stainless steel water bucket for putting my water in, and the tray underneath it I keep a selection of other tools in case I break anything. So I've got like 2 lots. That's where I throw all the old shoes that I've taken off, so they're out the way. This is my daily usable tools. We'll go through those in a minute. I think that's about it in there. Under here we've got selection of shoes. These are just a few for the week. And then we've got what else have we got? Thermometer, a few pads, a ratchet strap there for just that one, just in case, a toe strap just in case, compressor just in case, leather pads, hoof cushions of various different sorts, all sorts of bits and pieces in there. Most important, block of wood for doing Shetlands. Put their feet on instead of on your knee. Head collar in case I get somewhere and they haven't left one out for me, or find a loose pony somewhere or other. And this bit I designed and made. This wasn't like this when I got it. This folds out and my anvil goes on there, so I'll show you that. That swings out. I made this A-frame to go underneath it. The chap before just had a big anvil in there, and he had an anvil stand that he just put out anywhere on the floor, but I didn't like that idea. Took up a lot of room, the anvil stand in the back, so I came up with this idea, which works quite well. That's all adjustable. As you can see, I'm parked a bit low, so we can twist that down so we can get it pretty level, because obviously you don't always park on level concrete. Be nice if you did. The A-frame twists around to take up any slight unevennesses in the ground. There's my little bolt that I was telling you about. That holds it nice and steady. Then we've got my magnet bar for the old shoes that I use for shaping up the new ones. Stool jack, that's about 40 years old now. Had it since I was at college. Toolbox, we'll go through that again in a minute. And my hoof stand, which I think most of you have seen at some stage. So what else have we got in there? Let's have a little look. Alright, so on the left there is a cordless angle grinder, so I can alter shoes if I need to. Then just an ordinary toolbox with some ordinary tools, spanners, etc. in. Obviously the forge, nothing fancy there. I like to try and keep it locked up when I'm not using it. Sometimes the door flies open. I don't want to stress the hinges. Little cover I made just to keep the muck out and the heat in. I'm not using it. Right, see what we got in here. Turning hammer. That hammer I use on my stool jack. That's an old knackered hammer. Hot fitting tongs. Wire brush. Rasp for dressing up bits and pieces. Couple of pairs of tongs. They cover most sizes. Spanner for the gas low. Another diamond dresser. Another spanner for the gas low in case I need to get it out in a hurry. In here we've got some spare 3/8 Whitworth taps for tapping stud holes. Marker pen. What else have we got? A tap made out of an old olive rubber shoe. Cut off to go in the anvil if I need to trim up shoes. Wound powder just in case. Cutting fluid for doing stud holes, hoof putty, filling up holes, hoof dressing, and most important, fly repellent for the summer. And then we've got stamp and pritchel in case I need to put any extra holes in the shoes, carrying pritchel, couple of stud punches for different size stud holes. What else? I think that's probably about it in there. Yeah, I think that's it for there. Oh, one thing I did forget from the left hand side, my box of, or bag of glues. So it's the glues, hoof, not putty, the hoof padding, padding materials, all sorts of stuff like that in there. And the glues, the gun and all the rest of it. So that sits in that side. I'll look through the tools. Nothing fancy. These are cheap and cheerful. Very cheap, but they last pretty well, and then I just sling them. You can pay 150, 160 quid for them. Diamond pull-offs, Blurton hammer, quite nice. I might try and make myself one of those. Diamond nail pullers, nice rubber mallet. That's actually very, very hard. It's like steel, but it's rubber or plastic. MFC clenching tongs, they're nice, decent set tongs. These are just cheap DIY shop draper nail snips, which I use for trimming the nails down. Buffer or clench cutter that I cut down from another one, bigger one. Again, I might make myself one of those one of these days. This homemade knife, it's the best knife I've got. Keeps the best edge of all my knives. What's this one? Spare loop knife. Don't know why I keep that on there, because I've got one in my chaps. These I use for holding hair up on the hairy horses when I'm finishing off a front foot or a hind foot. broken knife I use for cutting out clips, and this one I use for digging out pus. Nice little loop knife, very sharp. I like to keep that one just for digging out pus. And then a couple of rasps, my finishing off rasp and my dressing rasp. I think that's about it in there. So my anvil is homemade out of a bit of railroad track with a bit of plate welded on the top. This is all adjustable, just a simple A-frame, all folds down flat. Magnets on there for the old shoes that I can use as patterns, magnets on there for holding my tools when I'm shaping. I think that's it. Let's go and have a look at some shoes. Alright, excuse the mess. Some of you will be accustomed to it already. These are shoes that I've made and not used, done removes and brought them back for next time. Box loads of old shoes that I haven't used much of. These are the ones I use at the moment. These are my favourites at the moment. Handmade Shoes UK Limited. Billy Carruthers, world champion Farrier. That's his company. I know Billy reasonably well. Went to college with him, he was a year above me. I do have some mustards. These are like a roller shoe, which I use on a couple of horses. They're quite nice. You know, years ago you'd make that type of thing, but nowadays you can just go and get it off the shelf. Also got some Kirkhart roller shoes. Same type of thing, just smaller. But for ordinary shoes, everyday knock-ons, Billy's are the one I use. They're a lovely shape, straight out the box. Real nice shape. They're clean. No nasty jagged edges, good solid clips, nicely drawn. Plenty of nail holes with lots of pitch on them. Nicely pitched holes. Good all-round shoe. In fact, cracking all-round shoe. What else have we got? I'll go right up to the biggest I've got there, I think it's size 13, which is a pretty monstrous shoe. I've got one big horse I use that for, Anna. And some tiddly ones down in those boxes down there that I haven't used much. What we got here? Egg bar. They're from, crikey, they're very old. I bought them for somebody years ago. I think they're pledges. And that's about it, I think. Up here we've got a load of fullered concave, so if I haven't got any right shoes and I need to make some, I've got plenty of fullered concave up there. It's all going a bit rusty now, but it still works if you want to knock out a shoe. So I think there's only one thing I haven't shown you, and that's my chaps, or apron, or whatever you like to call it. These are from Gibbons. I've always used theirs. Really like them. Had these for years and years. They've repaired them and repaired them and repaired them, put new patches on for me. Got two knife holders, loop knife that end, ordinary knife that end. And these ones buckle up round the back with an ordinary strap and buckle, just like a belt. Nothing fancy. You can get them with Velcro and all sorts of things, but I quite like these. And then the legs, they go quite a way round your leg and clip on with a popper there. Keep your legs nice and protected, great in the winter, a bit warm in the summer. So that's it, my shoeing rig.